Greg and Ed Begley Jr. We are at the PSC&G Global Green Expo 2008 in Liberty State Park, Jersey City, New Jersey. And we just had a couple questions for you. Thanks for taking a minute.
My pleasure.
We saw your speech, the keynote speech, and just to reiterate a couple of things, you were saying that being conservative or environmentally active, people don't have to spend lots of money. People don't have to be rich. If you can afford a solar panel, great, do it. But if not, what are some of the things that people can do? Like someone like me, when I go home, what can I do?
Energy efficient light bulb, energy saving thermostat, weather stripping, bike riding when weather and fitness permit, public transportation if it's available near you, and here in this area it very much is. Just unplugging stuff, unplugging all that vampire power, that stuff, there's phantom loads that take from you, like a vampire, take from you, give you nothing in return. The cell phone charger, when it's not charging, unplug all that stuff. If you don't want the hassle of unplugging them all individually, put them on a power strip, all that phantom power stuff, and switch it off with one switch. They have a new technology called Green Switch, where you flick one switch when you leave your house or go to bed at night, and it kills all the vampire power. They've been using it in Europe for a while with hotel room card keys to switch off stuff that's unused. So there's ways to save energy that is very cheap. We should be doing all that stuff first.
I have to say that Lauren and I watch Living with Ed. We would record the episodes last season, and we saw the episode where you had that switch installed in your house, and you were showing your wife, look, one touch, everything's off,
everything
leave
goes
the
off.
house. And I said, we can't do, we rent, so we're not going to do that.
You can't
but
do that.
I have an idea, and what you just said, hook everything up into a power strip when we leave the house, and we did that this morning.
Good.
So that's a really
funny.
good idea.
You see? Great minds.
And my other question, shoot. What was I going to ask? Oh. Like I said, I'm not an expert with this stuff. I'm getting into it. Lauren and I are getting more into it. And it seems like the people who go to something like the Global Green Expo are already into it, right?
Right.
You're preaching to the choir.
Right.
And maybe people who aren't into it, it's just old habits, like people who smoke cigarettes. It's an old habit. Why don't you quit? It's an old habit. Why do you keep buying this product? It's an old habit. How do people get out of the old habits?
You have to hit them where it affects them, and I think the pocketbook is a good way. You can show people that they're going to save money doing it. You can show them in other ways, things that they care about, that people from both sides of the aisle care about. I say, hey, why wouldn't you want to clean up the air in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, and Houston? Why wouldn't you want to lessen our dependence on industry? Why wouldn't you want to put money in your pocket? You say no to any of those things? No, there's no Republican, there's no independent, anybody who's ever said no to that question. So when you frame it in that way, I find, and I say with great pride, this show, Living with Ed, 40% of the email, somewhere approaching half, is from self-avowed red state Republicans. That's the biggest success I can ever, accept, is that they, people from the other side of the aisle, outside of my base, if you will, outside of the converted that we're always preaching to. I go and speak at the Solar Festival in Hopland, California, the tie-dye and VW bus crowd, and that's, wonderful. I love those people, but they've already got solar panels. To get a new segment of the population, new demographics, that's what we've done with the show, and that's what this book is doing as well.
Oh, you got me.
Thank you, pal.
One other question. We were here yesterday, and we saw Ted Danson do his keynote, and we talked to him afterwards, and his organization, Oceana, is involved with the ocean and sea wildlife fish, and he was stressing the fact that a lot of the fish now are poisoned or have toxic, they have mercury in them. He said avoid swordfish, tuna, be cautious of, things like that. Are you aware of that, and how widespread is that problem as far as...
It's a real problem. I don't eat any of those fish, those cautionary fish. I am mostly a vegetarian anyway. I haven't had red meat since 1970, and I haven't had swordfish in 20 years or something, or any of those, tuna in Islam. So
I just bought swordfish
well,
from Whole Foods.
Maybe they have a sustainable swordfish there. I don't know about that. But you do the best you can, but we have to be careful. We can't keep, just raking our oceans and having all this bycatching and killing so much marine life. It's going to be very bad for our children and our grandchildren. We can't do it.
He also mentions that you would be here today. He said that you are one of his environmental heroes.
He's one of mine.
He said he sees you riding your bike all the time in California, and he tries to run you off the road in his bike.
Very fun. You gotta have a sense of humor, and he has one. I love it. It's very fun.
So, and I think, right, you had a couple questions.
Yeah, I think my deal is more from the technology side.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in the new technology, what we can do. And I know someone in your speech had asked about the aircraft. And that's definitely what I was going to ask, because I just think like the aircraft, my father tells me all the time, he used to actually work for an airline, that they're the worst polluters of any of the industries, is the aircraft industry, and no one ever mentions it.
You're burning kerosene at 31,000 feet. It's not very clean. Jet fuel is kerosene with a mold retardant added. So it's not clean, and there's no trees up there to mitigate that CO2. There's many reasons why it's not a good thing.
And they say it changes our cloud patterns around.
They believe it does. And so for that reason, I try to avoid it at all costs. Sometimes you got to be Monday in LA and Tuesday in Jersey City. You do the best you can. But I buy TerraPass to mitigate it, but I try to fly as infrequently as possible. I think that's the prudent way to go.
Do you think there's a realistic future for, like a high-speed train, like they have in Europe?
I think so. I think we need to move in that direction. That's high-speed train technology certainly works. It works in Japan. It's working in Europe, and I think we can have that here. We need to have it.
Is there one website that you can recommend, just off the top of your head, again, someone like me who is getting into this now, one website I can go to that will give me maybe like, hey, you're just starting out, step one.
Yep.
Here are some organizations you can get involved in, or something like that.
Fixingtheplanet.com. Fixingtheplanet.com.
Thanks a lot for taking time out.